Hi, my name is Ariel Anthony, and I'm a product manager at Cover for over a year. I hold an MBA and I'm a bachelor in mathematics and computer science from the Hebrew University. I'm leading the Quantum product. Quantum is made for the enterprise CISO and provides a strategic platform for making mitigation and risk transfer decisions based on financial impact data. It also helps the CISO to create discussions around budgets and resources based on what really matters. It creates a consistent and database communication across the business. Cover was founded in 2017 by IDF Cyber Unit A200 alumni. We started in the insurance industry with clients among the biggest insurance carriers in the world. For example, Aon and Allianz. We help them to manage their risk across all the global portfolios, meaning we quantify risk of portfolios made from tens of thousands of companies on a single run from different industries and locations. Together with our partners, we created an expertise in automatically quantifying risk like no other model before. And now, in the Quantum product, we serve the enterprise CISO that would like to quantify their risk. The idea of cyber quantification is to translate cyber risk into financial impact at dollar value. Instead of describing cyber risk using technical terms like CVEs and vulnerabilities, or alternatively, using color schemes like red, yellow, or green, the quantification allows you to explain what will be the damage in the case of a cyber event. It is an example. In this example, we can see the highlights of a quantification for some company with different losses that they might expect in different probabilities. So for example, this company have a modeled average annual loss from cyber events around $35 million, and it can go up to $338 million in the extreme events. This aligns with the overall vision of Cover, to transform cybersecurity data into financially quantified risk management decisions. It can help you to communicate cyber risk in financial terms, also optimize cybersecurity investment and cyber insurance coverages and pricing, and to benchmark and compare yourself to your peers and compare the cyber risk exposure. To understand the different steps that we take to create an accurate quantification and insights, I will walk you through Company X case study, a client from the car manufacturing industry. We will talk about the underlying data of the quantification, how the data about the client impacts the results, the different types of events that cause damage, and some unique insights about mitigation opportunities found specifically for this client. Company X is one of the largest car manufacturers in the world. The headquarters is European, but it has global operations with huge revenue, $170 billion of yearly revenue with huge amount of sensitive data. This information is used by us to segment the company and understand what type of company we're looking at, because the different sizes, industries, and countries will have different risks. For example, we can think about how interruption can stop production in a manufacturing plant, but might be less deadly for an agricultural company. After assessing the overall risk of the company, we divided the financial loss into 6 thematic buckets of business impacts with full financial assessment for each of the scenarios. The scenarios represent a set of costs that the company will probably need to pay next year due to cyber events. This way, the CISO can see a heat map of where he should focus his mitigation operations and helps the CISO to understand what are the main drivers of loss. For our use case, data theft is leading the loss, with a high average exposure of almost $100 million, followed by the business interruption scenario. To understand how we achieve these results, we need to take a step back and talk about the most important thing, which is the data. To provide accurate results as we do, we have to know a lot about the threats in the wild. We start by learning about the client's industry, because as mentioned before, your industry will have a great effect on the likelihood of different event types hitting your company. We call those likelihoods frequencies. And the data about the specific company will impact the magnitude of the event, which we call the severity data. Today, data is harvested from over 20 data sources, public, commercial, and also proprietary data sources. We have a team of cyber experts dedicated to constantly collect and monitor new data points, also by analyzing new trends. We also use the claims data from our insurance partners to determine how much companies actually pay for cyber events. This is a very unique view into the real cost of events because most companies will underreport the real costs, but not so much when they claim it from the insurance. Combining all of this creates a massive database we use for our frequency and loss tables, industry, location, and size specific. To collect internal data, we integrate with the client's CMGLC or EDR systems, collecting data about your controls, data records, and also different tech that is used by the client. To ease this integration, we made it easy and seamless to integrate your systems with ours because we want to avoid giving our clients countless forms to fill out about their company. For this example, we used 15 data sources and found 170 incidents from the client's X industry. And more than that, we found 12 events which related specifically to this client. And this helps us to learn more about the company's cyber history, taking into consideration the changes in regulations and cyber posture which occurred after the event happened. An event example looks something like this. Here we see an example of an automotive provider which suffered a ransomware attack. He provided services for all major players in the transportation industry, causing a massive data leakage. But not all cyber events are the same, so they don't have the same frequencies. So we divided them into 5 event types. This unique breakdown into likelihoods provides us a better ability to associate the right damages with the associated events. It's maybe not surprising that the inherent risk in a manufacturing-heavy industry, the first-party interruption event will be the most frequent. Even when compared to other industries, like the health service, for example, they will suffer much more from data leakage. But looking on the industry is only one part of what will determine if the company will suffer an event. We need to look on the company's data like controls, cyber posture, and different technologies that are used to determine this likelihood. For example, a mature boundary defense will definitely impact the likelihood of being hit. So we take all of these data points about your company into consideration to really tailor-made your risk. Maybe not surprising, but a company with this great amount of resources have a lot of controls in place, and they matured most of them into at least the basic level. This is why all the scores the client received for the controls are high and positive, especially impacting positively the likelihood of data breach events happening to the company, with a very high score of 61 in a range between -100 and 100. Some less cyber mature clients will have negative scores of the controls. If they are, for example, in a highly regulated industry or a region, and they don't have the required controls in place, which might even result in a regulatory fine. Here we see how all frequencies are lowered by a significant amount, between 20 to 30% for all the event types, with a really low likelihood of data breach hitting the tested company. See how the residual risk of the first-party data breach drops to 1.4% from the inherent risk of 3.5%. But looking on the frequency is only one half of the story, because high-frequency event doesn't always mean high loss. So we need to talk also about the severity data. And this can be very well seen in the final results of the client, where we see the quantification results in the dollar value. Although data-related events are rare, they are driving most of the risk. And this can be explained by among the sensitive data that is held locally by the company. When driving deep diving into our discussions around severity, we'll need to determine two categories of events that we model. When the attacker knows who is he attacking, or an internal system failure that we call targeted events, versus a spray and pray technique that might impact a lot of companies from the same industry. At the beginning of the talk, we gave an example for a systemic event that might happen to different companies in the transportation industry. And as you might expect, different categories have different impacts. Like in a case of the targeted events, where cybersecurity posture will have a critical part in protecting the company's assets. In a systemic event, the industry you're in will determine if you'll get hit or not. In our example, we see that it's more likely to have a severe event from a targeted one, but a systemic event with higher maximum loss due to its tendency to be high risk but low frequency. To really help the CISO in prioritization, we will not only assess the risk, but also run countless additional simulations to find the best mitigation recommendation, and also provide tools for an on-demand what-if analysis scenarios. To understand the importance of not only finding a cost-effective mitigation solution, but also communicate it in a consistent and standard way that can easily communicate it across the company. So we receive our inputs from clients and also provide our recommendation on the control level, which is the sweet spot for most of our clients regarding prioritization of strategic decisions. We do all of this in all major frameworks, so CISOs can easily build their strategic plan while easily calculating his ROI. After looking at all possible outcomes, our model saw that there was an opportunity for a significant reduction in risk. By adding a basic control, which was not in place in a significant amount of assets, and also increasing maturity of a malware defense, the CISO can save up to $5 million, which is a very significant amount. This is especially interesting because a company invests a lot of money into controls, but our model being able to find the best opportunity to invest, correlating it directly to the company's risk. This makes the discussion about ROI and resources based on financial quantified facts. Thank you very much.